What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be doing a Manchester City transfer update, including giving a big update on Jamal Musiala. Before I do crack on with this video though, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates from January 1st for you guys to look forward to throughout the whole winter transfer window. So if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links, including my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. The links to them are in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Email also in the description too. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries, do leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim, and do let me know your thoughts as well of what you make of these transfers in the comments below. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to start off with the outs, and we've got an update on Kalvin Phillips, whose name I've got a feeling over the next few weeks and months is a name I'm going to be speaking about a lot when it comes to Manchester City transfers, and this is going to have a little bit of a domino effect on what Manchester City choose to do in the upcoming winter transfer market. Now, Mark Douglas has said that Newcastle United are actively seeking an option in January for the transfer market to try and take over the reins of Sando Tonali. It has been reported, according to reliable sources, Tonali is set to get a 10-month ban from football, which means he won't be able to play for Newcastle for nearly a year, which means for this season, certainly, they're needing options in midfield, which is where Kalvin Phillips comes in handy, because apparently he is available for loan and Manchester City are interested in letting him leave on loan and apparently happy to accept an option to buy, which Newcastle may want to do. And if Newcastle's serious about being in Europe and having European football season upon season, they need to meet homegrown quota, and to do that means you have to sign English players. And English players, when you're going after some of the very best from other teams who are sitting outside of them big European places, become very expensive. So bringing in Kalvin Phillips for an affordable price could be a shrewd bit of business that Newcastle choose to do. It's just not working out for Kalvin Phillips at the moment at Manchester City. Pep Guardiola seems to have him down the pecking order. He doesn't seem to be able to force his way into the Manchester City first team squad, and because of that, he wants to seek a move away from Manchester City, and his resistance from the summer and saying, I want to stay and fight for my place at Manchester City, just seems to be dwindling with the lack of game time that he's getting, and also the scrutiny that Gareth Southgate's getting put under as England manager when it comes to his team selection for the upcoming European Championships in 2024 in the summer, when England, who have already qualified, head over to Germany for a major tournament. And Kalvin Phillips has been in and around the England squad, could be in jeopardy if he's not getting regular minutes at Manchester City, which he hasn't been. We've had Rodri suspended, we've had a bit of an injury crisis, yet he's still struggled to force his way into the Manchester City first team reckoning when it comes to Man City's midfield, so he may seek a move away. Kalvin Phillips, if he does agree to leave Manchester City, in particular on loan, needs to be thinking about how often is he going to be getting played. I know Spurs are interested, Bayern Munich's name's been put out there, Newcastle United's name being put out there. Now he has to consider who is best for him when it comes to him potentially signing for somebody. Where's he going to get them regular minutes? And from Manchester City, in the business point of view, I'd be looking at moving him, if on loan with an option to buy, to a club that's serious, that can afford to pay the option to buy. We've already loaned Cancelo to Bayern Munich, for example, and they chose not to take up that option to buy, and there's every possibility that they'll do the same with Kalvin Phillips as well. CalcioMercato, according to Daniel Longo, has said that Juventus, they're also keen on Kalvin Phillips in January, but they're keen on an option to buy and a loan rather than a permanent transfer. City could try and force through a permanent transfer. It is plausible that Newcastle or Spurs or someone in the Premier League would be willing to pay money for Kalvin Phillips. It would be easier to get a loan with an option to buy. If we could get an obligation in there, you'll see me paying every respect to Manchester City, because that's not an easy feat to do. Getting a permanent sale or an obligation to buy in there for Kalvin Phillips will be a good bit of business for Kalvin Phillips, for the buying club, and for Manchester City, the selling club as well. We'll see what direction it goes in. As I said, I have a feeling I'm going to be speaking about Kalvin Phillips a lot over the next few weeks. Now, moving on to the ins, only got one story to speak about, and it's coming in big news. Comes in the form of Jamal Musiala. Now, Christian Falk, normally quite reliable with information at Bayern Munich, has said that Pep Guardiola likes Jamal Musiala and he wants him at Manchester City. Now, Liverpool have been getting heavily linked with a move for Musiala, and it was thought that Liverpool may have been closing in on signing him, and then Manchester City's name seems to have come in out of nowhere. I don't know if our name's been used here to try and get Musiala more money from Bayern Munich or more money from Liverpool, Liverpool or Bayern Munich trying to get more money from Liverpool by putting City's name out there, or whether the interest is genuine. I find it quite interesting that it's Pep Guardiola that likes Jamal Musiala, not Manchester City like Musiala, which to me, early indication, I don't want to get people's hopes up. I like to be able to dismantle and dissect news and information. The fact that it's Pep Guardiola that likes Jamal Musiala is probably telling me that Manchester City's name here is being used to try and get more money for either Musiala's party from either Bayern Munich or Liverpool, or from the selling club, which would be Bayern Munich in this case. If it was Manchester City that were interested and Pep Guardiola was keen, which could be the next step, then that would solidify interest here from Manchester City in Musiala. Now, Musiala is exactly the type of midfielder that City should be looking at. To me, it's a very big transfer, too big of a transfer to be happening in the middle of the season in the winter transfer window, so I'm going to instantly dismiss that this transfer could be plausible in January, but does sound like a summer transfer. He does sound more like a Liverpool signing than a Manchester City signing, if I'm being completely honest. Musiala, to me, is the kind of profile City need to be looking at when it comes to our central midfield. I think City are being very careful when it comes to our central midfield because I don't think they know what they want to do. They never really chose to force the issue when it came to Jude Bellingham. He chose to go to Real Madrid instead, and it looks like Manchester City have missed out on an absolute gem in Jude Bellingham. And Musiala could be put into the same bracket as well. He's yet to have Premier League experience. You don't know how well he'd do in the Premier League. It'd be a very expensive transfer as well. So it remains to be seen as to whether City have identified Musiala as that midfielder that they're looking for. We know when it comes to central midfielders, Manchester City will keep an eye on the comings and goings in and out of the club, but we'll also keep an eye on Kevin De Bruyne's recovery from his injury and the fact that Kevin De Bruyne now is getting no younger and into his 30s. Manchester City long term will be thinking about trying to find a replacement. And to me, when it comes to midfielders, you can't find replacements for top class players. Yaya Toure, David Silva, Fernandinho, obviously going to put in Kevin De Bruyne there as well. These are irreplaceable players. These are players that are top class players. There isn't like for like out there. There isn't value for money when it comes to replacing these players. So instead, you want to be looking for something a little bit different. And to me, that's why I like Musiala. He offers something a little bit different. Good with his distribution, good with his running, good with his tracking back. He's an all-round solid midfielder, good age to Manchester City as well. He'd develop and he'd get even better in this Manchester City team under Pep Guardiola as well. So I can see why Pep would be keen. I can see why Liverpool would be keen. Very much a battle here. I would have thought that Real Madrid's name would get chucked out there as well, but they look pretty stacked when it comes to central midfielders. Liverpool and City were left short when it came to Jude Bellingham last summer, so Jamal Musiala may be doing battle here for both Liverpool and Manchester City, and Christian Falk saying Manchester City firmly in the race when it comes to Musiala, changing the complex of things as it looked like Liverpool were going to be the team that signs Musiala. If we do get any developments, of course, I will keep you guys up to date. So if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel. It is free. Don't forget social media links. They're in the description. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. And also don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the comments below of what you make of these transfers. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow as we've got the big match preview of Manchester City's Manchester Derby clash this weekend away from home at Old Trafford as we take on Manchester United. So we'll have all the build up to that. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.